morning, everyone. So it is the beginning of a beautiful day. We had a great big breakfast today, which honestly I'm stuffed from.
Yeah, me too. But anyway, that's besides the point. We talked quite a fair bit at the beginning of this year about focusing on the important things in our lives, and we just wanted to take a little bit of time and make this video and talk about how we plan to really go about it.
So as of right now, we have three main issues that we need to resolve. One being, how are we going to find more time to enjoy the important things in our life?
Yep.
As well as, where are we going to reside if we have to travel to those important things in our lives? Because
there's quite a few that are distant from each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, how are we going to support this kind of lifestyle? So we're going to go through each one of these individually, starting with, how are we going to find more time?
So obviously there's only 24 hours in any given day. No more, no less. But something we can do to help maximize that time is rid ourselves of any unnecessary time investments, one of which happens to be our current jobs.
The problem with our jobs is they have fixed hours and a set location, with the only flexibility being vacation, which is limited. So it doesn't really give us the ability to be where we want to be when we want to be there.
Now we understand that this is much easier said than done, but we have created a rough outline that we plan to kind of follow, and we'll go into more detail about that a little bit later in the video. Another way we intend to maximize our free time is to purge ourselves of any unnecessary responsibilities. One of the biggest ones happens to be our house. We've talked a little bit and considered maybe selling it or renting it, but we never really came to an absolute conclusion one way or the other. And the benefits would be that we have to spend less time cleaning and less beautiful days are wasted mowing the grass.
Which unfortunately we have to do today.
We've considered maybe hiring a lawn care service to be able to offload some of that responsibility, but we never really could justify the costs. And to be completely honest, we don't really use a lot of the space inside the house anyway, and mostly just look at the yard anymore.
Regardless of how long and tall it's become.
And overgrown.
Overgrown. So, but anyways, with potentially downsizing, we have talked more and more about minimalism. Incorporating minimalism would cause us to have less stuff to clean and take care of, and only leave us with what's necessary. Only having what's necessary gives us the ability to focus on what's actually important.
Where will we reside while traveling?
So for this portion of the video, we're actually going to split it into two different sections. The first one being where we're going to reside while we're traveling. And I'm going to go ahead and knock out the definitely not going to happen situations. So one of the first ones being, we're not going to just crash on people's couches. Like, it's just not going to be a thing. First off, wherever we go, they're going to have room for four of us.
For sure.
There's me, Bam, the two dogs.
Kind of take up a lot of space.
Yeah, we take up a lot of space altogether. The other thing is, I'm sure family members won't care, but it's just not right, in my opinion. I don't know. There's something about it that just feels like I'm taking advantage of a situation, I guess.
Yeah, we like to kind of be self-sufficient anyway.
Mm-hmm. And also just have our own space from time to time. I don't want to always just be in somebody else's house.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of privacy. Like, we like to hold hands, you know?
Yeah, we like to hold hands. Aside from that, when we're in New York in particular, it seems like all of my friends and family members up there kind of have cats. And although I don't have a problem with cats.
And I love cats. I'm just highly allergic to them and they'll kill me.
Now, we do have a situation set up there where my mom borrows my uncle's camper when we do go up there, and we stay in there, but that's a lot of hassle to have to keep bringing the camper up to my mom's house.
Honestly, it's kind of an imposition to people, and we don't like to have any extra weight or burden on our account. Mm-hmm. And if we can be self-sufficient, again, we kind of want to be.
Yes. The other part that we are definitely not going to do is we're not going to have or go to hotels and Airbnbs all the time.
That can be expensive quick.
That can be expensive, and we have dogs, and it's sometimes can be a pain trying to even bring dogs. I know one hotel that allows dogs, but you gotta stay in the hotel the whole time you have them.
And that doesn't work when you go eat somewhere or something.
Yeah.
Go see the sights around the area. And we don't want to leave our dogs locked in a car because obvious reasons, that's not good.
Oh, and before we go into the stuff that we've actually considered, going back one more, we also don't like the couch crashing idea, because when we do decide to go travel to different areas, although there is an app for couch crashing or whatever, and you can stay on someone's couch or spare room or whatever. I don't feel very safe doing that at
For
strangers.
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
Like you said before, we kind of want our own privacy and to kind of go at our own pace and see what we want to see when we want to see it. And trying to abide by a schedule is the very thing we're trying to break free from.
Exactly. Let's really get into things that we have talked about and have been on our list, and we've slowly crossed off, and we think we have a general idea, but it's going to be a minute and we're still kind of jumbling around ideas.
Still working on it.
So the first thing that we decided is that we definitely are going to need something mobile. Now this is for a fact, regardless of whatever we do, we need something mobile.
Absolutely.
That way we have our own space no matter where we go.
A lot of places we want to go to are kind of far from each other.
Yeah.
So the mobility will help.
The mobility will definitely help. And the first thing that we ever started looking at was these big, massive fifth wheel travel trailer things. Oh my goodness, and they look just like a house, and they have all this space, and you just put all your stuff in it, have a great day.
And it costs about as much as a house.
Yes, yes, it is very expensive. And then aside from that, having to haul something like that, you need
a big, beefy truck.
Big truck. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to gas prices lately, but if this becomes a trend,
they have definitely been better.
They have definitely been better. So we're finding that the fifth wheel option is kind of out of the question in a way.
At the moment, maybe in the future, but honestly, with us looking to minimalism, it's looking more like the opposite direction.
It really is. It was a wonderful idea at first, but the other thing is we also want to keep our truck bed because me a long run some point, and him definitely at the moment, are going to be riding motorcycles. Whenever we're in a local area, instead of taking the truck and using all the gas and whatnot, and it's during warm weather, of course, we'll just go out on the bikes.
Enjoy the bikes, get a little more mobility, able to run around a little bit.
Yeah, and go.
And cheaper on gas, which is always a benefit.
And just go see the sights sometimes.
And see what we want to see, kind of where we want to see them, and be a little easier to like get around in traffic and stuff.
Oh yeah. So fifth wheels are kind of out of the option at this point. There's just not a lot to that. It could prolong our time to even be able to get on the road with how expensive it is. So moving on, we've decided that a travel trailer would probably be our best option. Now the thing about it is, we're not going to be able to go with something very long. Although our main purpose to doing this is to find more time for friends and family, occasionally we are going to want to go off and explore and go to different places that doesn't have family and
kind of go on our own adventures.
Yeah. So when it comes to that, whenever we decide to maybe go to a like national park or something like that, that has
or campground
that has like specific camping locations,
they oftentimes have length requirements, like maximum length limits, I guess I should say, not requirements.
Yes.
And 30 foot seems to be a really good size that you can fit into most places without too much hassle.
Yeah, so we're looking at something 30 foot or less. It's going to definitely be quite the downsize, but
I think it's doable.
I think it's doable. And so at this point, we've decided a 30 foot or less travel trailer.
And now you may be wondering why we didn't want to go to like a mobile home or a motor home. Something that we can drive around and, you know, have a car that tows behind us or put the bikes on the back.
Yeah.
And we've considered that. We've looked into that.
Van life, class A, B, C.
Absolutely.
Knocking class B and van life off. Again, we're big people with 2 dogs that like to hog space.
Yep.
Those are going to be way too small for us. And to cross anything that's mobile off of there, I honestly don't want to bring my whole home with me when I go grocery shopping. Or
go eat at a restaurant.
Go eat at a restaurant. Or just when we're in a local location, go from like one of our parents' house to our friend's house and take our whole house with us.
Or even if we're someplace on our own adventure, just trying to drive around and see the sights.
Oh yeah, that sounds awful.
Just trying to park with, you know, a giant mobile home or motor home would be a lot more hassle than just disconnecting the truck and driving there in a truck. That doesn't even like consider the fact that if something happens to the vehicle itself, like the engine has an issue, your whole house is now in the shop. You have to find someplace to lay your head that night, like a hotel or something, and that could not only be expensive, but may not even be feasible, depending on what time of year it is and where you're at.
I mean, I would much rather try and just rent out a vehicle than try to have to find a hotel room or something with the dogs you know?
Yeah, and that's even assuming that you can find a mechanic that would be able to work on your motorhome, because that requires specialized equipment and people that actually know what they're doing.
Yeah, because you can't, a lot of the times with motorhomes, you can't just take them to any mechanic, especially if it's something really wrong. So,
Yeah.
so again, travel trailer under 30 foot. That's the route we are definitely probably.
That's what we're looking into, and that's where we really found our niche, where we're happy with what it provides and what we need.